So Donald Trump has emerged from his primordial ooze to once again give a babbled, incoherent, delusional speech to a bunch of drunk boomers. Let's go ahead and watch and find out what he's going to say. Take it away, Trumpster. Should I be doing it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
The only thing that can make this more patriotic is Donald Trump's voice just overlaid in there somewhere, you know? Grab him by the pussy. On and on.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Okay, I think we're going to skip this part.
Well, thank you very much. And you see the spirit from the hostages, and that's what they are, as hostages. They've been treated terribly and very unfairly, and you know that, and everybody knows that. And we're going to...
Instantly, he's talking about the people that have faced charges for the January 6th riots, and he's calling them hostages. Just instantly.
The first day we get into office, we're going to save our country, and we're going to work with the people to treat those unbelievable patriots, and they were unbelievable patriots and are. You see the spirit, just cheering, they're cheering while they're doing that, and they did that in prison, and it's a disgrace, in my opinion.
There's more than one Let's Go Brandon shirt in the background? Oh my God, these guys. You know, I say this before, I've said this before, but I'll say it again, like, conservatives are still using the same arguments as conservatives from like the 1950s. It's no surprise that conservatives are still regurgitating a long dead meme. Like the third time somebody said, let's go Brandon, to actually mean Joe Biden or something, was the last time it was funny. For a group of people who don't believe in climate change, they seem to recycle the exact same memes, jokes, and arguments repeatedly.
With your vote, we're going to take back the Senate. We're going to win Ohio in November. We're going to win by a lot. You know, we're up like 16 or 18 points. I saw one. We're up 20 points in Ohio. And we're going to look at crooked Joe Biden, and we're going to say, Joe, you're fired. Get out of here. You've done a terrible job. You've done a terrible job. You've been a terrible president. He's a terrible president. He's the worst president we've ever had. There's never been a president so bad as...
Self-awareness. Zero. I'm sorry, Trump. Like, I'm not up here to argue that Biden's the best president we've ever had by any means. Okay, not at all. But like, look around. Look at what Pew Research shows. Pew Research shows that internationally, people have more respect for Biden than they did for you, Trump. Right here. America's image abroad rebounds with transition from Trump to Biden. Biden gets much higher ratings than Trump, and U.S. favorability is up significantly. When Trump entered the White House in 2017, ratings declined sharply. This year, U.S. favorability is up again, whereas a median of just 34% across 12 nations had a favorable overall opinion of the U.S. last year. A median of 62% now hold this view. So again, this doesn't really mean that Biden's a better president or anything, but it just shows that, like, Trump saying, like, he's the worst president ever. This is not reflective of how we are even viewed internationally speaking. Do we want to talk about Trump's tax cuts? Do we want to talk about the way that he put tariffs in place, which ended up screwing over the American consumer? Do we want to talk about how his tax cuts cut taxes for large corporations in an attempt to incentivize them to build businesses here in this country, but it didn't work? And instead, all that happened was a bunch of big companies got tax breaks. Remember?
There's never been anything like it. He's incompetent. He's crooked. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Can't walk off a stage. Can't put two sentences together. He's a disaster for our country. You know, I say it a lot. I used to say 5 worst presidents, right? Now I say, if you took, and I say it, and I think I could go up further. What do you think? Another 3 or 4? Add another 3, 4?
Hey, you know what? Props to Trump. At least he's finally able to acknowledge that Biden is president.
They will not have done the damage to our country as this incompetent, crooked guy has done to our country. And that's what he is. And, you know, to be honest, I treated him with more respect than I do now. I don't treat him with respect because he did this weaponization thing with the DOJ and the FBI. They raided my house. And once he did that, I said, well, I guess that game is over. Nobody thought it was possible. In fact, even the lunatics over at CNN and MSDNC, they would say, well, no, these aren't crimes. These aren't crimes. You know, you fight an election and they end up indicting you because you fought a crooked election. Think of it. You fight a crooked election and they indict you. They don't indict the guys that made the election crooked. They go, the people that want to have honest elections get themselves in trouble because these people are.
The people that want to have honest elections. No, Trump, you, along with a lot of other people, broke the law various times in order to try to get different results in an election. Big difference, my friend. This insane gaslighting is bizarre. He's unironically doing the method of, if you just repeat a lie over and over and over again, eventually people will just believe it. And all of these sad inbreds behind him are those people. They're the people who are now believing this crap. We have the phone calls. We know how Trump was trying to use his power to find 11,000 more votes. We know that Trump was alleging voter fraud for so long and that there were a bunch of investigations, none of which found voter fraud. Or if there was voter fraud, there wasn't nearly enough voter fraud for it to actually have led to any kind of a sway over an election. Even Trump's own guy, Barr, he even said, there's no election fraud, and if there was, there wouldn't be enough to sway an election. But no, Trump continued to try and use his power to sway a democratic process.
Sick in Washington, and we're going to change it around fast, I'll tell you right now. But among my very first actions upon taking office will be to stop the invasion of our country and send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home. These are the roughest people you've ever seen. You know, now we have a new form of crime.
So this is, by the way, fear-mongering. We know that illegal immigrants commit less crime on average than native-born Americans. That is true. We know that illegal immigrants pay massively into the Social Security system. We know that on average, illegal immigrants pay more into social services than they take out. We know that illegal immigrants, even with them being here illegally, bring immense benefits. If we were to deport all the illegal immigrants in the country, millions upon millions of dollars would be lost to our Social Security fund. So much would be disrupted with the economy. This notion that immigrants, illegal immigrants, are these criminal thugs, they're rough people, they're bad people, this is bullshit. The majority of people who cross the border have lower crime rates. However, it is true that some people who cross the border aren't great people. It is true that just having a border wide open for anybody to walk in is, of course, dangerous. That could lead to people that we don't want in the country coming into the country. So then we should make the process easier to legalize people. If they are already here illegally, but they haven't committed any crime, if they're just working a job or living a normal life with an expired green card or something, give them citizenship, Social Security number. Now you can track them. It's easier to hold them accountable if they commit a crime. It's easier to keep tabs on them, etc. Whatever you need to do. Legalize the people that are here, so long as they're not violent criminals or something, and make the process to become a citizen easier and more attainable.
You know, you have vicious crimes, you have violent crimes, you have all these. Now we have migrant crimes, and they're rough. They're rough, and it's going to double up, and you see what's happening. You know, throughout the world right now, I don't know if you know this, crime is way, way down. You know why? Because they sent us their criminals. That's why. It's true.
If this were true, then you would see a decrease of crime all over the world, but you would see way more crime in America. Because what Trump is saying is everywhere else is seeing a decrease in crime because they're sending all the illegals here. Then wouldn't we see an increase of crime here in this country? But we're not. Crime in the United States has declined significantly over the last year, according to new FBI data that contradicts a widespread national perception that law-breaking and violence are on the rise. The US crime rate has trended downwards for decades, and recent data confirms this pattern. However, while the national violent crime rate decreased by 1.6% in 2022 compared to 2021, the property crime rate did rise by 6.7%. Again in 2022. If crime everywhere else was decreasing because all the criminals were being put here in America, we would absolutely not see a decrease of crime in this country also. It's so easy to prove him wrong. This is laughable. Come on.
It's true. Venezuela is down 66% because they sent us their gang members and their gangsters. They sent us their drug dealers and their murderers. They're all coming into our country. And Venezuela now, their crime is down 66%. And all over the world, crime is down because they've sent them to the United States of America. We have a stupid president that allows this to happen.
So it's true that Venezuela had a reduction in crime. In 2023, Venezuela reported a 16.8% decrease in crime. And this was because of an increase in drug seizures from the previous year. Actions against prison mafias were highlighted as essential in maintaining order and safety. While Venezuela's crime rate reduction is notable in a region plagued by high crime rates, it's crucial to assess the sustainability of these strategies. The country's focus on community collaboration could offer insights for other nations in Latin America. I like how even the numbers Trump gave just didn't check out at all.
Here we go with the bombing again. You could solve that whole problem with a phone call if they respected you. But they have no respect for this guy. They have no respect for him whatsoever. Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, very tough man, probably the toughest guy there is, frankly, toughest in Europe. A lot of people don't like him because he's tough. He says, I don't want to have criminals in my country if that's okay with you. They asked him, what's going on with the world? What's happening? This is 3 weeks ago. They interviewed him. What do we do? The world is blowing up. Israel, Ukraine, the whole place is blowing up. What do? He says, you get back President Trump. When President Trump was president, we had none of this. Ukraine wouldn't have been attacked. They wouldn't be fighting with Russia.
What? Trump, by him being there, would have stopped a war? I don't even know. Okay. If I was president, then the Holocaust never would have happened. Cancer wouldn't be a thing.
October 7th, Israel would have never been attacked. Iran was broke. I say it in respect.
What? What are you talking about? We can go into the specifics as to why Israel was attacked, but the reason Israel's under attack a lot of the times is, again, because of Israel's desire to expand and the conflict there, etc. But when you were president, you were still funding Israel, which fueled the rage that a lot of Palestine harbors against Israel. How would that have just not happened? What Hamas did was a fucking atrocity. How the hell would Trump being president have stopped that? He literally is saying, like, without me, there'd be no cancer. Every day would be a sunny day. Every day would be a perfect, crisp 68 to 74 degrees Fahrenheit with a very low humidity. Every day, if Trump were president.
They had no money because they weren't allowed to sell oil. I told China, if you buy 1 barrel of oil from Iran, we're not going to do business with you. We're going to put tariffs all over the place. We're going to raise your tariffs to 100%. I already raised them to 50%. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. No other president took in 10.
The tariffs literally led to a trade war, which then led to an uptick in consumer costs for consumers who needed to buy appliances like a new washing machine or refrigerators. All of those prices went up because of Trump's tariffs. That hurt the American middle class.
10 cents from China, not 10 cents. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China and others, Unbelievable when I see it going. But I got to know all these people. They're very smart, very streetwise. And I would do the same thing. If I had prisons that were teeming with MS-13 and all sorts of people that they've got to take care of for the next 50 years, right? Young people, they're in jail for years, if you call them people. I don't know if you call them people. In some cases, they're not people, in my opinion, but I'm not allowed to say that because the radical left says that's a terrible thing to say. They say you have to vote against it because did you hear what he said about humanity? I've seen the humanity, and these are bad, these are animals, okay? And we have to stop it. We can't have another Lakin. We have so many people We have so many people being hurt so badly and being killed. They're sending their prisoners to see us. They're sending, and they're
Okay, so see what's happening here? MS-13 prisoners are not being sent in by foreign governors, or excuse me, by foreign governments to cross our border and infiltrate our country. But because Trump has chalked this image up in his head, and he's decided that these people are violent, heinous criminals who have committed atrocities like murder, and we already know that in reality, MS-13 prisoners are not the majority of people coming across the border. So what Trump has done is, by grouping this one group of people because they're criminals as animals, and then labeling the immigrants crossing the border as those groups of people, he has, in a way, grouped the immigrants as animals. He is dehumanizing all these migrants, even by virtue of lumping them in with these radical gang members. I know already that when because I was reading the articles, and it was saying the thing I would have expected. You know, Trump is dehumanizing migrants, or Trump used dehumanizing language to describe migrants, etc. But then when I read the quote, I knew that the defense would be, well, he wasn't talking about all migrants. He was talking about MS-13. But MS-13 aren't migrating here. They're not really coming here to the country. This is not really happening. This isn't like a big thing. So if it's not happening, but you're saying it's happening, and you're saying that those are the immigrants, and they're not even people, they're animals, you're dehumanizing immigrants.
And we've got hundreds of thousands of them, and we're not going to take it. We're just not going to take it. They are destroying our country. I'm telling you, he's the worst president we've ever had, and the most incompetent president we've ever had. And he's also the most crooked president we have ever had. Now, other than that, I think he's doing an excellent job. Do we agree? Other than that, quite good, right, JD? Those few things. He's incompetent, he's crooked. He's the dumbest guy. How the hell this happened? What a fake election that was. 1 week ago, I met with the family of 22-year-old nursing student, incredible person, Laken Riley, who was brutally murdered in Georgia last month while out on a morning run. She was so badly beaten up, unrecognizable. Can you believe?
It's really interesting how when it's an illegal immigrant that kills somebody, they're like, this victim, oh my God, this poor woman, oh. But then when it's a school shooting, or when it's like another shooting at the Walmart, we have a mental health crisis, more people need to go to church, you know, okay, bye. Nothing, right? One illegal immigrant commits a violent, heinous atrocity, we need to close the border, literally kick everybody out. It's totally just virtue signaling. Okay, so just really quickly, in 2022, 2.2 million cases registered by the US Border Patrol in 2022 of migrant encounters at the border. Washington Examiner, conservative source, says in 2022, there was more than, I don't know why they're saying more than, but whatever, more than 300 MS-13 gang members who attempted to sneak in and then were arrested. So 300 out of 2.2 million, this is barely anything.
They either hate our country or they're grossly incompetent. And anybody that can...
Projection, Trump? You can do severe damage. You've done severe damage. You either hate the country or you're grossly incompetent, dude.
And anybody that can cheat on elections the way they do is not incompetent, okay?
Calling the other side incompetent while you now peddle a complete nonsense fable, a fairy tale, that the election was somehow stolen, ooh, just because you're too much of a little pussy to acknowledge that you lost. Yeah, but it's the Democrats that are incompetent.
So now they have a new term for people like this. They call them neighbors. Neighbors. They want to call them neighbors. So they're people coming into our country illegally. Hi, neighbor. How you doing, neighbor? How's everything? Then they punch you in the face and whack you. What a group of idiots.
Funny how that's literally not happening. And again, it just shows how just vile his perception of immigrants is. Again, this group of people statistically commits less crime on average than native-born Americans. You're more likely to get punched in the face by a random white guy than you are an illegal immigrant, dude. Even if it's only 300 people related to MS-13, an open border does not make us feel safe. Exactly, yeah, nobody's advocating for an open border, though. So that's just kind of a straw man. That's like being like, well, yeah, maybe it was only 300, but like, we should still have our country be called the United States. It's like, Okay, but that means nothing. It's irrelevant to the conversation. No one's talking about having an open border, nor should we have an open border.
We have never seen what's happening to our country right now. They're destroying our country. They're ruining our country. In the Republican Party, we believe that Laken's killer is an illegal alien criminal. He is an illegal monster. He should never have been in our country, and he would have never been in our country. Never, ever would he have been in our country if the election weren't rigged, because we didn't allow people like that into our country. We didn't welcome them, and they knew it. You know, does anybody like the snake?
So Trump is saying that if he were president, this would never have happened. The guy who, this woman would never have been murdered by an illegal, I guess. But yet, remember Molly Tibbetts? Nothing can change the fact that the murder of Tibbetts was a brutal and unforgivable act, and that the murderer should be punished to the full extent of the law. So this happened when Trump was president in 2018. This was happening. Trump, how would you as president have magically prevented that one?
Whoa. Front row Joe got it. Look, I can't believe it. You're unbelievable. They've come to 127 rallies. I don't know what the hell they do, but they must have a lot of money, because there's a stand-up front row, Joe. I can't believe it. And that play, it fell right at, look at it, fold up.
Wait, is there like a group of people that go to every rally and sit in the front row? Please tell me you're joking. Some people are just an NPC from the day they're born. They exist to be an NPC. I don't know. How do these people exist? How are these real humans?
Is poisonous. Your bite is poisonous. And now I'm going to die. Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Now that's what we're going through right now. We're taking in snakes. We're taking in snakes. Yeah, maybe this way I can see you too.
What? Again, this is so disanalogous, it's actually embarrassing that he would even think this is comparable. We're bringing in a group of people that are paying more into social services than they're taking out, a group of people that are paying massively into Social Security, a group of people that commit less crime on average compared to native-born American citizens. How are these people snakes? Even more so, the analogy you're giving makes it sound as though immigrants are intrinsically snakes. As if immigrants are there's something innately about them that's deceptive and can't be trusted. This is so bizarre and radically bigoted bullshit that even if you dislike Biden, even if you hate Biden, you have got to vote against Trump. And it's okay to do that, because every election is a decision, is a choice between the lesser of two evils. Just pick the guy you hate less. Biden might not be perfect. Maybe he doesn't do enough. Maybe you're mad at the Democrats. Maybe you want to stick it to them. But not voting third party, that's not going to do jack shit, okay? And in your futile attempt to teach the Democrats a lesson by not voting, you make it more likely that Trump wins, and then you deliberately hurt minority groups that are going to be harmed by Trump's policies and vicious brain rot. So I would say that, yeah, you have a duty. Come voting time, you gotta vote, and you gotta vote against Trump. And it's okay to do that, because that's what elections are all about. We cannot let a snake into the Oval Office, and Donald Trump is that snake. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today.